Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Brewing with Jim.
And I join. Hello, everybody.
Jim, welcome. Yeah. My name is Joseph Jasper, co-host, question asker, producer, all that. I'm with Jim Brewington here in the podcast studio.
Here we are.
Indeed. This is a show where we get audience questions and we just try to provide answers to them. We try to give them insight and advice into what they're thinking about. So, Jim, we've got a question this morning. Let's hop in.
I'm ready. Yes.
All right. This question comes to us from an audience member, and I just think it's really funny. It says, "Why would God love me if I live an unspectacular life?"
When I hear questions like that, I wonder what caused them.
Sure.
What motivated a person to ask that question? Why would God love me? Because his love isn't based upon your behavior.
Right.
Because his love is unconditional. He is love. And one of the misconceptions that I think is daunting and dangerous relationally in our culture is that I will be accepted if people approve of me, and I accept other people if I approve of them. And that needs to be eradicated. Just toss that out with the trash. That concept is not biblical, and it's not God-like.
Yeah.
He loves me. I can talk about me. I have made every mistake that there is to make, I think.
Sure.
And he loves me because that's his nature. Also, is it possible, do you think, that he has decided to love me, or it's just his nature to do that?
That's interesting.
He probably does not go through contemplation and weighing the pros and the cons and so forth.
That's a fascinating question.
That requires time, and he is not limited by time. It's just his nature.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this questioner.
Yeah.
And find out, or at least explore reasons that somebody would think that.
Yeah.
And the reason that somebody would think that is because they don't understand completely, or maybe not at all, the definition of God's love.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, okay.
It's fun to kind of get in the shoes of the question asker, and I can kind of do this, honestly. I find this question a little bit relatable in the sense of we can talk about the power and the scale of God and be incredibly impressed. We can talk about how God is all-knowing, all-powerful. He exists outside of time and space, and he created and the whole universe. He cast every star in the sky. He knows intimately every molecule of the universe, right? And yet here I am. I'm one of 8 billion people on this rock, and I'm not like in first place in humanity in like any metric. Like I'm not the richest, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the, coolest or whatever, smartest.
You may be the nicest.
I might be.
You might be. You're very nice.
Thank you.
Yes.
But like fundamentally, like I am genuinely I'm not special. Like there are so many people that are just like me or that are better than me in any variety of ways. And so the question, I think, is actually kind of natural. Why in the world would the creator of the universe even know me or recognize or know who I am?
Right.
The universe is so big. It seems like there's so many things to know
it is,
about.
And I have thoughts like that when I fly in an airplane.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look down and say, wow, that's really small down there. Everybody's small.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those houses, are they houses? I can't tell. They're just specks.
Yeah.
And then there are people who live in them, and I'm one of them, and I have to be smaller than that. I get that.
Yeah.
That perspective is a mind-blowing perspective.
Absolutely.
But I mentioned a moment ago that I think a person who asks that question, I can't be inside you and know exactly what you're thinking, but there is a definition of love that is not cultural. It's biblical. Right. It's God's definition of love, and he handily put that in the Bible so that we could know what it is. So let's go through what that definition is.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
And I think the way I like to teach this is with 5 points, but I don't want to just list 5 points.
Of course, sure.
Feel free to interrupt me
anytime.
I will, yeah. But point 1, love is a decision. whether it's a decision by God or not is I don't know, that's
fascinating premise.
I'll think more about that later. But it is a decision by us, by human beings. We make a decision whether we're going to love somebody or not. Mm-hmm. It's conscious and it's cognitive. It is spiritual too, but it definitely is something that we can think about. Do I want to love another person? And then I make the decision that I will do that. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't make the decision we'll do that if it's based on feelings.
Yeah.
And there's this idiom that we fall in love when we see somebody
Sure.
or we're attracted to somebody. But number one, just keep this and as number one, and I'll come back and add some details to it later. Number two, in no particular order here, it's not based on attraction. Mm-hmm. Now, attraction is nice. I have attraction to people.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I saw the girl I was going to marry and did marry and am married to now.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And it was, part of it was physical, but not all of it.
That's right.
She was working in a place I was running, and she was interacting with other people, and there was a sweetness about her. I found that attractive.
Yes.
Now, there's some
Same
people...
experience with my wife.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sweetness.
Yeah.
It's still her dominant characteristic.
Yeah. Seeing her interact with other people was one of the most attractive things about her.
Well, I feel comfortable in saying this about her, because she doesn't listen to the podcast. She'll probably listen to this episode.
Exactly.
There are times when the sweetness is hidden.
Sure.
Yes, there are times when she becomes frustrated or she has some negative emotions, and sweetness is not going, okay, do I still love her? Because that which caused me to be attracted to her is missing. I can't see it. And the answer is yes.
Of course, yeah. Your love doesn't turn off and on based on the presence of...
It cannot.
What originally made you fall in love,
Whatever makes us attractive to another person, that characteristic is going to go away sometime. If it's physical attraction... and you're with that person long enough, they're going to change.
Yeah.
And the physical attraction could be altered.
For sure.
By accident, by illness, by age, by any... Okay.
Absolutely.
So it isn't... our love for another person is not based on attraction, even though attraction is there. Mm-hmm. Now, is God attracted to us? Well, not by our behavior.
Sure.
No, our behavior has nothing to do with it. He can approve or disapprove of our behavior based upon theologically or how much glory is emanating from us through our behavior.
Right.
But when we behave improperly, even rebelling against God's will, He still loves us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Think of if you have children, think of your children. Think of them when they're sleeping and you're watching them. There's the love.
Absolutely.
Right there. Think when they're yelling at you and disobeying and not wanting to, won't do what you want.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet. My son's only 20 months old. But
teenage years, there will be, no, you may not do that. Yeah. Dad, I hate you.
Yeah.
Okay, those are rebellious moments. The love doesn't stop.
That's right.
The fondness might, but,
sure,
but the love doesn't stop. So there's number two. Love isn't based on attraction. Mm-hmm. It's based on the decision and the commitment.
And there's kind of just an innateness to it. There's like a constancy. That's not a word, but yeah. There's like a...
Well, there is a constancy.
Is constancy a word? I'm just
it is now.
Grammatically, I'm just wondering
that.
No, but
it's fine.
But yeah, like it is constant. Is all I'm trying to say. Like, and
I think it's consistency. But
well,
let's don't pause too long here.
Constant and consistent are different words. Anyway,
they are.
And I don't know. Anyway, I was just going to say that I think that God probably views us that same way. That His love for us is that fondness that you, like when you mentioned like looking at like your sleeping baby, in front of you in the crib, in the bassinet, whatever, like there's a really powerful moment, even though nothing is happening and it's perfectly silent and they're not doing anything, there's still that fondness, I'm going to keep using that word, is just built in. And it's like inherent.
It's built into the decision.
Yeah.
And there's a phenomenon that just reminds me of a phenomenon. There are some people that, for me, are not physically attractive.
Sure.
There are, and I would talk about women here. There are some women to me that are not physically attracted, and there are other women who are. Yes, she looks very, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some of the women that are not fit. Should I say ugly?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What's your point?
The point is that there are some women who, to me, are not physically attractive, who are married and they're attractive to their spouse.
Sure.
Okay. What happened there? Well, I have met and worked with colleagues that I would describe as no head turner people, and yet when I get to know them, they become more attractive.
Yes,
and it's their attributes that are attractive, and their attitudes and their behavior, and all that. So the attraction thing goes up and down.
It does,
and there will be moments. I believe that if you are dating somebody and are engaged to them to be married, everybody who is married before the wedding should help their other with diarrhea and vomiting. Because I'll guarantee you're going to be helping that after you're married at some point. And that is not one of the most wow moments.
It's not glamorous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's go on to the third point.
Yeah.
The love isn't based upon emotions. It's not based on feelings. It's nice when they're there.
Sure.
When they're
I agree.
You feel really good about this. But there will be times when the emotions are not positive about the other person.
That's right.
I have never loved someone who at times didn't annoy me. And that's just the way it is. So the love persists when the emotions are not there.
Yeah.
And there are times when I have been indifferent to God, or perhaps even ignored God, or given God the silent treatment, not because I was mad at him, but because I just, I'm really busy and I don't have time for you right now.
Yeah.
His love persists through that. So now we have love is a decision. Love is not based on attraction. And the attraction, by the way, could be we like to do the same things. We have the same sense of humor. We have all those attractive
various connections.
Okay, yes. And then number 3, it's not based on feeling.
Yeah.
And number 4, it's not based on reciprocation. It's really nice when the other person loves you back, but the love isn't dependent upon that.
That's right.
We were talking, was it off mic or on? I can't remember. You and I were talking about children, mostly in their teenage years, I think, who just rebel against their parents. I hate you, and you won't let me do this, and all the other kids can do this, and why won't you let me do this? And okay, at that time, there is no reciprocated love that's recognizable.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you ask the kid, do you love me right now? The answer would probably be no. I don't. Well, our love for another person doesn't depend upon whether it's reciprocated. When I do not reciprocate God's love to him, he still loves me.
Yeah.
He's right there. He's faithful in that relationship. So now we have those 4 points.
Yeah.
And the 5th point for love is it does not end. It just does not end. We don't set up a time when we quit loving. We don't set up
it's on the calendar.
I say we don't. Let's talk to the audience. Don't set up a time when, if the conditions change, you're going to stop loving.
That's right.
And that's our culture.
Yeah, it is.
Over 50% of marriages are divorce, and that's in the church and out of the church. Okay.
That's right.
This isn't what I signed up for. Oh, yes, it is. Yes. Did you do for better or for worse? You probably thought about the better and didn't think much about the worse.
That's right. Yeah.
But
absolutely.
What about if your spouse becomes I don't know, physically incompetent, in a wheelchair with a colostomy bag,
Sure.
and paraplegic, and you have to take care of this spouse for the rest of the spouse's life or the rest of yours.
Yeah.
What do? A lot of people walk out. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
This isn't what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Well, now he's drinking, and matter of fact, he's drinking too much, and so I'm out of here. Or we don't like to do the same things. We don't laugh at the same things anymore. I'm going to get a divorce. None of that is biblical.
No, not at
None.
all. Not at all. What I like is we brought up the idea. I made up a word. I think the constancy. Call it consistency, whatever.
No, constancy is fine.
Is that
with
fine?
me?
What I meant when I said that is, again, just simply the idea that like that sense of love, like, is constant. It never falters. It's always there. And I said that after, I think, point 2 of the 5. But then all of the rest of the ones that you named, they all kind of get at that idea. And it, for me, what it points to is, I think, a really cool connection where I started this segment, or when I was talking about this question, talking about the perspective of, wow, the universe is so big. God is just so powerful. How could he ever love me, given all that he knows, all that he can do, all that, experience that he has, right? But I feel like you can apply that same sense of scale. You can apply the same sort of endlessness and power to God's love as well. And it's that projection of love coming from God is just as eminent, and it's just as powerful as what that cynical person, that question in my head would be seeing about his power and how much he can do and how all this stuff. The love of God is just as bright and expansive.
Yes.
And so when we can see that definition of God's love as being that expansive, it isn't anymore so hard to believe that you can be loved by that God.
What the list of the 5 points that I gave you regarding agape love or unconditional love, the love that God has and is, you won't find that list in the Bible anywhere.
That's right.
But you'll find those concepts everywhere, from Genesis to the end of Revelation.
Yeah.
All that concept, the whole book is about how God loves.
That's right.
And that he is love. Now, of course, these are the attributes of God. There's theology in there and so forth. But we talk about oftentimes spiritual growth in people, that I want to have spiritual growth. I want to go. What is that?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm still talking about love here.
Yeah.
Okay. What is this spiritual growth? How do I behave? And the questioner, by the way, indicated behavior in his question. Yeah. And how can God love me when I'm the way I am? How often and how much you read a Bible, the Bible, is not necessarily going to create spiritual growth. It'll create knowledge, perhaps, yes. And it may create an environment for devotion. All that's good. I'm for that. But how often do I go to church, or have I ever missed, or do I have a quiet time, or do I behave the way it is my Christian living the way God wants it to be? All of that. No, that's not how you measure spiritual growth. Yeah. Spiritual growth is measured by, are you loving? That's it.
Love it.
Do you love another person? Now, that requires some skill to show the love.
Yes.
But God loves us. He doesn't acquire skill. He has it. But he loves us individually, each one of us, and he shows it in different ways to us.
Absolutely.
So we're not all loved. We can't measure it with the same yardstick because it's all different. But how loving am I? How accepting am I? And acceptance is the most salient manifestation of love. Rejection is the opposite of love.
Yes.
So God accepts me.
Yeah.
And who am I to not accept somebody else he accepts?
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I think that's a great place to conclude. Thank you for that. Let's go to our second segment, which is the surprise Jim segment. I will preface you up front to say this week, it is a superlative question, which you famously hate.
The only superlative questions that are difficult to answer is, what is your favorite?
That's exactly how this question begins.
Oh, okay. Well, it was nice to be with you, folks. I'm walking out of the studio.
In defense of the question I'm about to ask you, there's not going to be a large number of things you will have to recall.
Oh, okay.
So it should, I'm assuming, be a pretty short list. So here we go. Jim, in the course of your life, what has been your favorite or your best car that you have driven?
Oh, my goodness.
Or owned or something like that?
I'm not a car fanatic.
Sure.
I'm not even a car fan.
Sure. Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I wanted to have a Jeep. One of my close friends, who became mayor of our town, had a Jeep, and we spent a lot of time in the Jeep. I said, I've got to have one of these. It was like a Wrangler.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That was fabulous. And I got one. When I was old enough and had enough money and I could buy a car if I wanted to, I bought one and used it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one, when I was a kid, I wanted a pickup. I thought it would be Texas,
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got a pickup. And
yeah.
So I wanted a pickup. Later I got one. Mm-hmm. I got a Tundra, and it was really nice, and it had a back seat for the kids and others, and so those two, I think.
Yeah.
But after sitting high profile in a pickup, I then got a little car, not little, whatever. It's an SUV. It's a Subaru Forester.
Sure.
I really like it.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of safety features and so forth. So I don't know. My parents had a car. My dad had a car that was my first car. He gave it to me when it was It was a 1951 Chevrolet Deluxe.
Oh my goodness.
And it was, of course, a manual. The gear shifts were on the stem, on the wheel, on the steering stem.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I love that car.
Wow.
That was so much fun. But it was clutch. It was, it was manual transmission. We didn't really have, automatic transmissions. Maybe they were around. Okay, there are three.
Sure.
There are
That's
three.
Great, yeah. It's funny. I got my first car from my mom as well. She got a new car around the time I started driving, because it was kind of this natural handoff. And it was a Kia. What were those things called? It's like a tiny SUV. The name.
I don't know.
The name is the name of the model is missing me, but it was this really dorky, small little green. It was. And I'm rolling up to driving up to high school.
What year was this?
2000 and.
Oh, that's already way beyond.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Oh, this millennium.
What year was the car, or what year was I driving it?
Well, the same. Well, you didn't get it new then.
No.
Oh,
my mom had it for a while. The car itself was probably from like 2004.
Okay.
Or something.
All right.
And I probably started driving it 2010, 11.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Got it.
And then I went off to college. Didn't have a car in college because it was in Iowa, and no one wanted me driving on ice. Right. And then graduated, came back to California, got a job, and I got a Ford Fusion, which was like a 4-door, sedan. Mm-hmm. And I had that car for about 8 years, and it was fantastic. And then literally about 1 year ago, on my birthday in January of last year, I went out with my wife and my son, and we're going to go run some errands. And we got to my car in the parking lot, and the whole side of it had been completely like caved in, like sideswiped, hit and run and stuff. Kind of a long, like actually a very hilarious story about that.
Oh, that's hilarity though. That is funny.
No, about how it ended up.
Oh, you mean peculiar?
No, it was objectively hilarious.
Oh.
The guy that hit me turned out and that did a hit and run, and they found the car and everything. Ended up himself being a DUI lawyer. Like that was his profession. Yeah.
Was he drunk?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So he like drunkenly like hit my car in the middle of the night, crashed it. We lived in the same apartment complex, so his car was like suspiciously parked very close to mine, and it was
of
pretty
this is
obvious.
Just showing up as a little familiar. You told me this story once before. I don't remember.
It was about a year ago. Yeah.
Okay, so he's a DUI lawyer, and was he arrested for DUI?
Yeah,
and did he get off by his own skills?
I have no idea. Everything after the point when they discovered who did it and they were able to get it all together with the insurance, I became out of the loop on what happens in the situation.
Yeah, okay. Did you get your car fixed?
No, it was totaled. And so
did you get a new car?
Yeah.
Was there a recompense?
Yeah, so I got a check, and then we got an SUV. I got a Ford Edge.
Okay. What a weird story.
Huge upgrade, at least, which is nice. And there's more room for the kid and the second kid that's on the way.
Your growing family.
All that. So it ended up working out okay. I was obviously very sad because that was my first car that I bought. It was my car.
People become emotionally attached to their cars.
Oh, definitely.
My wife has to get a new car every once in a while. She's in real estate, and you have to kind of look like you make money,
Sure.
And so she gets a new car periodically. And one time she took the old car, and she got out and she cried.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was almost like this car and we've been through so much.
Yeah, there's memories.
And
it feels like a member of the family in some sense, like in obviously kind of a weird and indirect way. But,
an immaterial way.
Yeah.
It's not immaterial. It's material.
It's very material, yeah. But, like that car that got totaled, like that was the car that we drove away from our wedding in, and that was the car that we took our son home from the hospital in, and stuff like it's just like things like that, But anyway, it's still at the end of the day a car.
That just stimulated a thought that's off point.
Yeah,
we can end with this because we're almost over. As we are recording this, we have just been through the enormous wildfires in Southern California. And this has they were so big, so destructive, and so wild because of the winds that came in that the world knew about it. This is worldwide news. One of the feelings that I have is these people have lost all the memories of this house.
Yes.
And we become emotionally attached to our house and so forth.
Yes.
And one of the thoughts that I had is my house doesn't have memories. The memories are in my brain.
Yeah.
They're in my mind, and it's just the house that stimulates the remembering of these things. And I can still remember. I can remember some very intimate times with my children when we played and we did. I don't have to have the house to remind me of those.
That's right.
I don't have to have the car to remember what fun we had in the car or the truck or so forth.
Oh, that's true.
I think that might be healing for some people who lose a physical possession and think their memories are going to go away with it. They don't.
Yeah.
We get to keep our memories.
I'd almost encourage maybe journaling or some element if this is
photographs.
There's photographs and but yeah, it feels like journaling would be a good thing too for some people. I'm sure that would be a benefit. But anyway,
okay, let's wrap up.
Pretend to know what to do with that. Let's wrap up.
This
has been another episode of Brewing with Jim, and we want to thank you to our audience for listening as always. We want to also end, as we always do, with an extension of an offer to reach out to us if you have questions that you want us to ask, or if you even just want us to hear from you, get to know you, and all that. So
or comment on our comments.
There you go. Or if you just want to leave us a comment, let us know how we're doing.
Please do.
That can be done through an email address that is set up, brewingwithjim@gmail.com. So we would love to hear from you, brewingwithjim@gmail.com.
Okay, good.
That's another episode.
Yes.
Thanks, Jim.
Take care, everybody.
All right, bye-bye. The topics that are covered and the answers that are offered during episodes of Brewing with Jim are designed to mine the wisdom attained from a life of pastoral ministry and care. They do not constitute professional or clinical training or expertise in the areas of counseling or mental health. CVCS and its podcast network want to provide a platform for the discipleship of our community. Brewing with Jim is our attempt to foster that environment in a format that is accessible for everyone to participate in. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during the show are the speaker's own, and they may or may not represent the views, thoughts, or opinions of Capistrano Valley Christian Schools or its faculty. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. This episode has been a production of the Capistrano Valley Christian Schools Podcast Network. Capistrano Valley Christian Schools is a Christian JK-12 school in San Juan Capistrano, California. Be sure to check out, subscribe to, and leave a review of this show and the other shows on our network on your podcast player of choice. Doing so supports the school community in a multitude of ways. For more information about the CVCS Podcast Network or any of our other shows, check out cvcs.org or email podcasts@cvcs.org. On behalf of the whole network, this is Mr. Jasper saying thank you again for listening and stay tuned for more.